Okay, so today we're going to do an experiment where we're going to take some magnesium metal. And so I've put that magnesium metal inside of a copper cage here, so that magnesium is that silver part inside of that metal. And we're going to react it with some hydrochloric acid. Now, we're not going to react the whole thing with hydrochloric acid. What we're going to do is I've layered down here on what we call a eudiometer, the hydrochloric acid down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to fill the rest of this with deionized water. Now, what's special about a eudiometer is it's designed to capture gas. And so you can see it's similar to a burette in that it has a volume that gets read. But on the other side, it's going to be sealed at the very top. So as we generate our hydrogen, it's going to travel up through the top and it's going to be captured at the very end of it. Now, to do that correctly, what I need to do is I need to layer my deionized water on top of that hydrochloric acid so that they won't mix. And so I'm going to tilt this very narrowly, and I'm going to start to add in my deionized water. And I want to add in slowly so that it doesn't mix too much down at the bottom. So my HCl will stay at the bottom, and I'll get a layer of just deionized water at the top. As we get more and more deionized water in there, then we can speed that up a little bit more and more until we're completely full. And then I'm going to put in my magnesium inside of its copper cage. We're going to submerge that up here. We're going to cover this with a rubber stopper that has a hole in it. I'm going to flip it on over, submerge it in water, and we'll see that reaction begin to start. Now, as long as I cover this hole when I flip it, then we won't have to worry about any water leaking out, but we still have to move quickly because that HCl, as soon as we invert the tube, it's going to start to come down the tube because it's heavier or more dense than our water. So let's go ahead and get that set up. So I'm submerging in that magnesium up on here at the very top. We can see that there's nothing happening yet. That's a good sign. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill this. Some water is coming out through the top of my bubble. That's great news. And so now I'm going to invert this here. I'm going to put it underneath the water level, and then I'm going to open it up. And you can kind of see up here at the very top, there's this mixture going on. And that mixture is that hydrochloric acid that's more dense than the water. It's coming on down to take part inside of that reaction. So this big beaker is just full of deionized water. And so what I want to do, adjust this a little bit, is I want to hold this here with my burette clamp. I'm going to bring this up just a little bit, keeping it below that waterline surface. And we're waiting for them to mix so that our reaction can start down here at the bottom. Now, I'm going to bring you in closer so that way we can see a little bit better about what's occurring. But before I do that, there's a couple pieces of information I want to tell you. So I've measured the temperature of our water in here. And so that temperature is 22.6 degrees Celsius. And we're going to assume that the vapor that we collect up here, the gas that we start to capture, is going to be equal to the same temperature as that water. And so we're going to use this in order to figure out how much water pressure or vapor pressure we should have captured inside that solution. Our second one is going to be the room's barometric pressure. So the total pressure of the room right now is 763.5 millimeters of mercury. And so that's the total pressure. And so that's going to include whatever gas we form as well as our water or our vapor pressure. So I'm going to bring this in a little bit closer so we can see. So you can see down here at the bottom that magnesium is starting to react with the hydrochloric acid. It's making these bubbles. Those bubbles are then traveling up the eudiometer, and we're starting to capture it up here at the top. So over time, we're eventually going to push out this water hydrochloric acid mixture as we make more and more of that gas. I'm going to set that up so we can record it, and we'll see how it looks in a couple minutes. You can see all the bubbles is still forming where volume is getting larger and larger. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the video now, and then we're gonna cut back after it's been completed, and then you guys can see how it goes.